Hello everyone, my name's Bottletophornet, and welcome back to another episode of Minecraft. Welcome in to episode 25. 25 episodes in the new world, which is kind of cool. Still got that pillar in the background there for getting the best sort of rates out of my creeper farm. But before we get started on this episode, there's something that I kind of just wanted to do. I've built up a decent supply of quite a few of these resources, and I kind of feel like fortuning them. But we probably are going to need more than a shulker box to transport it all back. So I'm just going to go grab 2 more of those, and I'm going to pile this up quickly, mine it all down, and we'll see how much we get back. So a couple of these, we'll place them down here, and we'll grab all of this out and probably have to sleep for the night first. But I'm going to do this in a 10-second time lapse, and then we'll pop back in and see how much we've got. Hope you guys enjoy. I'll see you on the other side. So, now that we've mined all that down, and I've put a little bit more of the deep slate coal over here, we have 1, 2, and 3. A little bit of this stuff. Wasn't really much to mine up, but it's always nice to add a little bit more. We got a heap of coal, which is also great. And then we got a lot of copper. Like a lot. So I think what I'm going to actually do is use a little bit of this coal, and we're going to smelt up a bunch of this. So I'm going to do a quick little bit of math and work out exactly how much I want to make and how much fuel I'm going to use, and then we'll fire that up and get that cooking. So 32 blocks of coal, off they go. That should load that up with 2 each. Beautiful. And then an additional 112 pieces of coal will cook exactly 1 full chest worth of copper. So I'm going to set that off. I've already loaded up the chest with all the copper, and that's going to work away filling up this double chest completely with copper. So we're going to have plenty of copper to work with from here on out. And I still have a fair bit remaining. So I am going to send that one off. That'll get started, and then while we're working on this episode, hopefully, since it's in the spawn chunks, it should continue to work, no problem, the whole time. Okay, beautiful. All of the fuel is in there. We will set this little minecart to start picking up all of it like that, so that our furnaces don't get filled up and stop the efficiency of this coal block. We can sleep and get to work, and we still have plenty of coal. So, now we can get started on this build that's going to go over there, but before we do that, there's a couple of things I want to show you guys. One of them is something that I forgot at the end of the last episode after finishing the creeper farm. During that creeper farm build, a thunderstorm happened, and I managed to get myself 3 charge creepers. So I have a channeling trident in my ender chest, I believe. Actually, let me just check that it's still there. It's probably in there, one of those tridents. And so as soon as I heard that thunderstorm going, I rushed over to our little one that we had in the boat down on the shore here. But when the lightning struck, it destroyed the boat and the creeper with it. It killed the creeper. So it must have already been slightly damaged. So I went around and got 3 more of those. And then also on a live stream, we went and started collecting a couple of zombie villages so that I can have a little supply built up for down the line when we want to start populating this city. Name them all Zombles. And we got this fancy boy. So yeah, a couple of fun little things. I'll pop those videos over onto the VOD channel, which will be linked in the description if you guys want to check out the VODs. Now, over here, the first thing that I want to do is set up my item filters. If I can set myself up with some storage first and then build the building around that, it's going to make things a lot easier for me. So this has been chugging away a little bit. Mostly we've been far enough away that it hasn't been active, but while we're building here, this is probably going to start to fill up a little bit. And as such, I want to make sure that I have plenty of storage and it's starting to go into a permanent solution. So one thing that I want to do is actually come back this way and remove that piece of water there. And what I'm going to do is actually divert the water flow from about this section here. So we're actually going to have that stop there and put a piece of ice underneath it. That way the items come through here and we're going to have the water going from that point that way. So let's see where that pops out. In fact, it doesn't quite pop out. That's good. It's sort of buried into the hill a bit, which means we have space to work with. So what I can do is block that off, put down this piece of water here, and that brings it over to what to me looks like a pretty good spot. So from that point onwards, we can have our storage just buried into the side of the hill there. Let me clear out some space, and then I'll quickly put together a little bit of item filterage so that we can have the storage organized, and then we'll pop into the build itself, I think. So yes, let me make some space, grab some redstone, and we'll see what we can put together. In fact, this is probably as good a time as ever to get ourselves a little redstone box sorted for our ender chest here. So I'm going to quickly put together this, and we're going to see whether we have any red dye or red. Yeah, there we go. So a little bit of red dye, and we have ourselves a redstone box. Because personally, I find it's nice to have redstone available with you wherever you go, just so that you can pop together some little things and get some stuff started. So we're going to grab some hoppers, some glass. We're going to grab these observers, because why not? Stone buttons, all of this fun stuff. Some spare blocks may as well. I'm not too worried about the organization just yet. We're actually going to grab that so we can make a bunch of those. And we'll take the ice with us too, because we're probably going to need that. A little bit of quartz and some cobble and stone so that we can make up the comparators that we need. I'm probably going to do 3 for each. 2 for the indecision. 1, 2. We'll go 5. 4 for the gunpowder itself, and then just 1 for the sugarcane, because I can probably set up 2 or 3 chests worth for the sugarcane, and that's going to be more than enough. If I ever have more sugarcane than that, I won't know what to do with it. And that farm is also a lot slower than the gunpowder farm, so it'll even out, I think. We also want to make sure that we have a handful of repeaters, so I need my redstone box, and we can make ourselves 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, not quite. 5 of those as well. We need the same amount of these 3 components each for the item sorters, as well as 3 redstone dust for each one. So a total of 15. Not too much in the redstone department, but it's good to have it all prepared first and foremost. From there, I'm just going to grab another piece of stone like this, and we're just going to rename these. Actually, no, stone's so old-fashioned. Let's do it out of something a little bit different. Gold nuggets. I like the idea of using gold nuggets. All right, we'll get a stack of that, and then we'll rename these item sorters. And that can also go in the redstone box. I like so. Beautiful. So I think that's looking pretty good. I'm actually going to put away these boats because I don't need them right now. We'll grab these chests so we have plenty of those. And I think we're good. Okay. So we're going to make a stack of these, which we'll use for our blocks for making the item sorters themselves, just so that we don't get confused with the normal stone. We'll sleep for the night. Ooh, and I also want to make those items go up a little bit higher, just so that I have the storage in the right spot. So a piece of soul sand. Perfect. Okay. Let's go. All right. So over here, if I build the sorting system at that height, it's going to actually dig down fairly low. So I want to make it so that the items pop up a little bit higher first. To do that, we're going to just add an item elevator probably back here. Oh, we've got gunpowder pouring through. I'll grab a piece of the packed ice to put beyond that so that things flow into it. And I need some trapdoors. Fly through here, swoop. And beautiful. And swoop. So, with that, I can now block this off And we can make a water elevator wherever we want to, or whatever height we want to from just there. Cool. So we'll quickly just block that off so that the water can sit in that spot. Now let's get started with the building. I'm probably going to need to craft some more hoppers. We'll get started with the building in just a moment. Oh God, I have no rockets either. Wait. Yes, I knew I did. Perfect. So what we want to do is probably set up where we want our chests first and foremost. So I'm going to just sit them, the ones that we want to have access to, at this height here. We want the 4 for our gunpowder, and then we're going to have a slight break, and then 1 for our paper or our sugarcane. But because I'm silly, this probably wants to move out a little bit further. So like that. On top of there, we're going to have an additional double chest for each one so that we have some backup for the storage. And that's exactly how much we're going to use because that's how many chests I have. I don't think I'm ever going to need more than 8 double chests worth of gunpowder or 2 double chests worth of the sugarcane because in reality, I'll probably put them in shulker boxes if it ever came to getting that high. From there, we can use some of these hoppers that I crafted. Continue the line down, so now those are connected, and then into the back of these, we want our feeding line. The feeding line is going to be fed by the sorters, and so that means that we can start these sorting systems right here, I believe. I'll fix it in a second if I've got this wrong. These sorters want to come 3 back from there, which means we're going to need 1 more additional block worth of space to drop down to our next layer. And a torch. 1 block goes there. In fact, first we will use our redstone repeaters like that. Put our blocks there, and in front of that, a redstone torch, comparators, and redstone. So now all that should be required is just to put the item filters in the hoppers that we face directly into these comparators. And the water flows over the top. Beautiful. If you're interested in something like this item filter, it's something that Impulse SV came up with many, many years ago, and it's foolproof. It works perfectly every single time. And it's really something that is worth having in your vocab, redstone vocab. Why? That's the only way I can sort of describe it. Artillery, inventory, repertoire. Repertoire. So yeah, something that's very, very helpful, along with a couple of other very basic redstone once you understand it. They're very, very nice to know. Much like what we did over with the sorting, spitting out the items. Now, we're going to make this water pipe come up over here. So it doesn't need to go far, just far enough to get it up that little bit extra. Oh, we've got a lot of stuff coming in. So a few pieces of water, and then this one here should go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's like I know what I'm doing. So that water, when it breaks, will come all the way across here. That's perfect. We're just going to turn all of this into the brick. Nope, not that. Like so. And we'll do the same on the other side. Just so that if I'm ever digging around here, or if I'm digging through while I'm building, I can be sure that I know that these bricks mean don't dig. Don't break it, otherwise water will go everywhere and ruin my redstone. We'll put 1 piece there, and then we'll use the glass that we had to just block this in and make it so that it is not going to pour water out all over our precious, precious redstone. Nice. With that, I should be able to just break that water, and if I put something above there like this, those items should flow up into there and come all the way across. I counted a little bit wrong, but it's okay because what we will do is just grab a piece of this packed ice and replace that. It's okay, don't worry, the redstone's fine. No, it's not. We'll replace that with ice, and that way it should make sure that it flows across there perfectly. Now I've got to fix my damn redstone. Crawl through here and get rid of all my stuff like that. Put my repeaters back, and that's why you don't play with water around redstone. Silly. It's fine. See? Fixed. All right, with a bit of luck, we're probably already seeing, yeah, we are. We're already seeing stuff flow into there. So now we're going to grab some of these items and use them as our filter items. We'll also, I'm out of space, put away a few of those things nice and quick. And we should be able to continue doing this in the dark. It's fine, as long as a creeper doesn't fall down here. So we'll grab our item filters, and putting 4 of those item filters in there means that we should be able to fill that side up, and it will stop at 41 pieces, like so. That's because a hopper with 45 pieces of anything inside of it will put out a redstone signal of 2, which is not enough to light up the 3 pieces of redstone that we have at the back. Therefore, that redstone there does not light up and activate this torch. So this hopper here is locked, not allowing any items through. As soon as that hits 46 items, the comparator will put out enough power to power that piece of redstone, which powers that repeater, turning off that torch, unlocking this hopper and allowing items through. The reason that we put 4 singular items in there and don't up the amount so that we can get more, or sort of like have less in there like that and fill that up with the 45 items, is because putting in an entire stack into that one slot will not go over the 3 power. So if more power was coming out of this comparator, it could leak over into the next filter, which would turn that on, accidentally allowing items through. So the reason we do that is because even with a full stack, it will not go over the 3 amount of power, and these can be stackable side by side. So we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to put gunpowder in there, same thing here, gunpowder in there, and the same thing here with gunpowder. That'll fill up itself, that's fine. The last one will be exactly the same idea, just with sugarcane. Perfect. Now, if we take this sugarcane out of there, from this point onwards, every single piece of gunpowder should go into these filters, and every piece of sugarcane should go into there. And that is our sorting system that we can build up a room around, or a building around. Beautiful. We just saw some gunpowder go in there. Lovely. So I'm going to transfer these items across into there and delete this section, fill that back in. Then I'm going to go grab some materials and start putting together our little explosives workshop. I'm thinking that this is going to become an explosives area where we deal with TNT, rockets, and fireworks as well. Like the fireworks that you use for making pretty colors. Where did that skeleton go? Hello? Ah, there you are. Ow. So, we're going to pop over into a time lapse. I have an arrow in the back of my head, and hopefully that doesn't affect my ability to build. We're going to see what we can come up with as far as a building around this, and then once that's done, we'll have a permanent area that we can come to make some rockets for flying or any explosives that we desire. And I'm going to try and blend this into the surrounding landscape that I've made and prepare for another building up there in the future as well. So I hope you guys enjoy, and I'll see you on the other side. Yeah. And welcome back, everyone, to our little explosives workshop. I went for something a little bit different while also maintaining a similar-ish build style to what I have done elsewhere. So we used a similar roof style and block palette, but I figured that the brick and granite look over there was a little bit more in line with something industrial. And we're going to have a similar sort of style over in that industrial area as well. So if we pop over here, I still have some work to do to bring the pathing up to the same sort of standard as this. So gathering some coarse dirt and putting in the half slabs and everything like that. But if we come down this side, I decided to add coal around the whole area as though it's like black powder, if that makes sense. Like using that coal or charcoal to make up some form of explosive material combined with the gunpowder. So we've got this little entryway here with just a little bit of random detail. I've got this opening at the back, and most of the interior is unfinished because up the top I would like to add a storage room for my TNT and probably for some sand as well. Or we might make a rocket crafting station up here to make the colored fireworks. So those are options to do up here. We could extend it a bit and have a bunch of different dyes and everything for crafting our different sort of fireworks. But then down here, if we come out, we have also an unfinished interior where we have our sorting system here. I'm probably going to tidy this up a little bit and create a bit more of a ceiling in this area and a bit of a crafting area there once I cleaned it up. So yeah, I kind of like it. It's a little bit different for me. I tried to do something a little bit out of my comfort zone style-wise, but I think it turned out pretty good. I'd love to know what you guys think though, whether or not you feel it's too much of a diversion from the existing architecture, or whether you think the little bit of brick and granite is going to be a good way to distinguish which buildings are industrial compared to residential or city buildings. So if we were to continue that sort of block palette over here for our buildings, and maybe even for the wood processing plant that we have up here, I think it could work out okay. But yeah, I think it looks pretty good. I added the coal around as well to make it look like maybe this section of the hill was quite dense in coal, so we could even add a bit of a quote-unquote coal mine down in here as well. Maybe there's an entryway down and we store a bunch of coal ores. We could even grab some of that deep slate coal and bring it down in there and make the coal caverns. Ooh, coal caverns. That could be fun. Let me know what you guys think. But I like this. Ooh. I think the... ooh, trident. Let's see. Whenever I hear that trident, I've always got to give it a try. Hey, there we go. I swear they have upped the drop rate of tridents in this new update. They have to have. Anyway. So I kind of like how this has some staggering layers, some staggered layers, I should say. I feel like it gives it a good little effect and makes it look fairly dynamic, even though it's mostly just an exterior for now. That's something that I'll probably work on either on a live stream or in between episodes, just fiddling away, doing some little interiors and whatnot. But for now, that's started to fill up. I think in the time that I built this, we maybe got only a couple of stacks, but what I might do is actually pop up top and just AFK for half an hour. I'll set myself into a little bit of safety up on that pillar, let it run for half an hour, and then we will see how much we have in here. So I'm going to take note of that. It was 35 in the middle stack, and then we'll come back in about 30 minutes and see how much extra we've got. So up here, I'm just going to block myself in a little bit. Now, this will become less efficient at nighttime because all of this landscape around here will be dark enough that mobs can spawn. But I'm hoping that even so, oh, that's quite dark, that even so, we should still get a decent amount of gunpowder. We're very close to each other. So I'll be back in half an hour and we'll see how much we've gained. I'm still here. But it has been about 28 minutes now, and we're probably just going to drop over, sleep for the night to get rid of all of these these guys here, and then see whether it works okay. All right. So, if you remember, we had 35 in the central spot of the line. I'm hoping we got maybe at least 5 stacks, but we shall see. Okay. Wonderful. So it was 35 in the middle of there. That means that we have gotten just about 9 stacks in half an hour. So we could round that up to 9 and just say that it would fill a double chest in 3 hours. That's not bad. I'm fairly happy with that. All right, let's organize that back up a little bit. Cool. And, oops. Yeah, I'm not really sure how much was in that, but I'm sure that's gained a couple as well. That's nice. So yes, that does mean that it's probably better for us to be up at that height, but that little stick in the air is really not the ideal situation. So, with the question that I talked about at the end of the Creeper Farm episode, the general consensus is a Zeppelin. So I think what we're going to do is build a Zeppelin up in the air, probably over the top of the middle of that, and see what kind of design we can come up with. But to do so, I kind of want that copper. Now, I know because I checked on it before I even started the explosives workshop, this was already done. So, we have plenty in there, and I actually left some of it in here so that I could use the XP and maybe heal up some tools. Yeah, beautiful. Lovely. So with that, we should have exactly a double chest full. That is such a satisfying thing. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn those all into blocks, but my inventory is quite full. But I'm going to turn those into blocks and get some of them spread out so that they can start to oxidize, because I think I would like oxidized copper up there on the Zeppelin. We're not going to make it super large, but just large enough that it looks decent and in proportion to everything else. But I like that. I think it turned out really well. It's sitting in there quite nicely. I think one last thing that I might like to do is just grab a little bit of glow lichen and let me know whether you guys think that I should naturalize it a little bit. So grab some leaves and chuck that all around and sort of, I don't know how else to explain it. We don't actually have any glow lichen, so I'm going to have to go over into my zombie lab and we might just grow some of this on the ground. Okay, there we go. As you were, fellas. So we might put a little bit of this glow lichen on some of these edges, just to give it some texture, like so. And it also is going to light it up a little bit for spawn proofing, which is nice. So stuff a little bit like this. Beautiful. And now we have this little walkway here that is going to continue up the edge to the wood workshop. I like the idea of these being workshops, like the explosives workshop, a wood workshop, and potentially some other stuff down the line. But with that, I have unfortunately run out of time for making this episode, and it is coming through a little bit late. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed the little explosive workshop, and we're going to be able to make a bunch of rockets from there whenever we need in the future. And until the next episode, I hope you guys take care of yourselves. I'm doing something a little bit different as far as the Patreons now, so that'll be in the credits. But thank you guys for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care, guys. Bye-bye. Woo! Thank you to all my Patreon supporters. I appreciate the support so much, guys. Especially my level 3 supporters. Ness, Shifu, Carl, Evan, Tessie, Reitman, and Twistle. Thank you guys so much for believing in me, and I hope you enjoy these episodes and plenty more to come. Take care.